collect call from Steve. Going into the NFL, they know so much information about you, but yet can't figure out sometimes which quarterback can throw and who can't.
I don't think this is information you really need, to be honest. But
once I got that email, I was like, oh yeah, it's on. I'm going to school now.
Cut to it. Let's get down to it. Cut to it. Let's get down to it.
Hey, to the Cut to It podcast. A guy like, I don't even know if you noticed, it's not close, but my hat's kind of resembling the FAMU kind of style.
Okay.
Right? I can't commit exactly because I'm still a West Coast dude, but man, to the Cut to It, we got a guy that, they say 5'10", but the truth is he probably about 5'9" and 3/4, but it doesn't matter. But he has an opportunity to shed the light and take the torch of the small guys, as the NFL would say, but his game is not small town or small. Welcome to the Cut to It podcast. We got the same last name, so that means we're brothers from a different mother.
Yes, sir.
Xavier Smith. Welcome to the Cut to It podcast, man.
Man, I appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, this is co-host Coley. He's learning other teams outside the New England Patriots, but he is a mastermind of multiple things. I'm just trying to figure out, as we do the podcast, which ones is he actually mastering.
Yeah.
Tell me one thing you cannot leave the house without having in your possession.
My phone.
Okay.
Right now, my phone. Just because, I never know who might call. I never know, when I might need to use it or who I might need to call at a point in time. So, I kind of always make sure I keep my phone on me and keep it around somewhere close.
So I got a random question there. Do you know how to make a collect call?
A collect call?
Yes.
Nah, I don't think so.
Wow. You are the kids of our future, and you don't know how to make a collect call?
Put me on game. How I make a collect call.
I don't think this is information you really need, to be honest. But
well, when you're locked up, this is a call from. Well, really, so a collect call is basically you don't have any money, but you need to make a phone call. So there's like a number you call, then you tell them what number you're calling, and then they say, collect call from Steve. Will you accept the charges? Right? And that's how it works. Yeah. But now with technology, and normally you do a collect call from a phone booth, a public phone.
Yeah, see.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
Nah, I know what a phone booth is, but we don't use phone booths. I ain't seen a phone booth in so long.
I know. That's why I said we used to blow them up when I was kids with firecrackers. We used to boom with M80 and try to get the change.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Y'all knew a little something.
Yeah, just a little bit. We gonna edit that out so that cannot incriminate me. No, they keep that in. All right. Coley, what can you not leave home without?
I don't know. Right now, like my vice is my dip. Like I feel like it's not a great answer, but if I don't have my dip, I feel not complete. Like I feel like I'm always reaching for it. Every time. Do you do the pocket? Like, do you hit all your pockets before you leave the house? That's what I need, honestly. I need to say, hey, is everything here and is everything back here? We're good. We're good.
So my combination of my one device or item is I'm old school. So I'll have, I got the whole wallet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. Cell phone. And I'm a old head. Money clip.
Okay.
Because if I got all these, I'm straight. Because if I lose my ID or my wallet, I got a money clip so I can at least get to where I need to get to let everybody know. But if I leave my money clip or my wallet, vice versa. Because I left my wallet at the house, but I done had got a few dollars in there, so I've been able to buy something to eat or get some gas or something like that. But I don't like completely relying on technology. I do like to be able to have cash in hand. So that for me, it's that low combination. And if I don't have that combination, I won't leave the house.
Well, I was going to ask, we've got a college age kid here. Do you still, when was the last, do you even carry cash? Or is it all digital for you?
So sometimes I make sure I have at least $20 in cash, but most of the time, hold
on. Man, with interest rates, what can you buy with $20 in cash? Not a lot.
Right. So that's why I got the wallet. So if I got the wallet, you feel me? I got the card and I'm gonna just swipe the card.
Yeah, that's true.
So that times done changed. So we do it a little different.
Huh? Yeah. Dang. All right.
Yeah.
I know for me, growing up, I loved Superman, right? Got a little Superman tattoo. So my question to you is, what superhero growing up that you tried to kind of really make that you? Like you knew, hey, when I think about this superhero, man, I'm balls to the wall.
It was Spider-Man though.
Really?
Yeah, Spider-Man. The way he's shooting them webs, catching them. Yeah, that was my thing. So the way Spider-Man did him, that's kind of how I try to, when I'm on that field, I feel it though, that's who I tap into.
Okay. All right. I like that. So man, tell us what's your hometown, man, and the place you where you from and the place you call your hometown?
Well, I'm from Haines City, Florida, and that's why I call my hometown, Haines City, Florida. That's where I grew up. I spent all my years there up until I went to college. So Haines City, Florida, Polk County. That's me. That's where I'm from.
Okay, and so how far is that? Give me something geographical or some landmark that's there to give our audience that's not familiar from Florida,
right?
Where that is. And I'm not a Florida guy. Don't really go there outside of. My uncle lived in Kissimmee, so Orlando, Disney World, and Miami Beach, and we had the Super Bowl. So that's kind of really the only thing I'm familiar with. Other than that, I'm oblivious.
So Haines City is really it's in Central Florida. So really, it's between Orlando and it's between Tampa. So it's like right in the middle. It's an hour away from Orlando, and then it's an hour away from Tampa as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so which one do you favor more? Would you go to Orlando or Tampa for vacation? So in the drive, if you want to get out of your own city.
For us, it'll be Orlando, just because they got everything. They got the restaurants, they got fun spot. They had a mall, Florida malls, things like that. So, most of the time, if we was to go away or get away, then we'll go to Orlando before we'll go to Tampa.
All right. So growing up, man, tell us, what was it like for you growing up?
I was raised by my mom, single parent home. So it's me, my older brother, and then I have two younger sisters. And my mom, she was a teacher. Now she's a retired teacher. So she just made do what she had to do with the teacher salary. They don't pay teachers as much, but I watched my mom hustle. I watched my mom grind and, make it happen with it. She made it do what she had to do. And, that's just kind of how I came up. That's just how I grew up, just seeing my mom having to work hard and provide for us. Yeah, like just seeing my mom, man, she made it happen for all of us. She created this opportunity for me. And, I'm grateful for that. That's my story.
So what opportunity though? You say you're grateful for the opportunity. What opportunity do you have before you?
Right now, just almost really talking to you right now and having that opportunity to, go to college, get my degree, and now having that opportunity, pursue my dreams and make it to the NFL.
Oh man. Well, I got some information and they say you weren't offered very many scholarships coming out of high school.
Yeah.
Right. Well, take us through your high school experience leading up to before we got here today.
So in high school, I played varsity 3 years. So 10th grade year, I was the young guy. So It was a lot of guys. It was a lot of guys. They was older than me. They were seniors. So I wouldn't really get a chance to show what I could do or just get out there and perform how I wanted to or how I knew I could. So, I was just kind of waiting my turn. And I ended up transferring schools in 11th grade. I ended up going to Haines City High School. So, that's when I finally got my opportunity. I started the first couple games I didn't start, and then I ended up starting the third game, and then I bust out for a 100-yard game. I was playing running back. So yeah, that was my first game starting. I had 100 yards, and my senior year it was kind of rocky just because a lot of situations was going on, but I was still making plays, and I guess I played running back, so I guess most people felt as though, I was I might have been 5'9", 155 pounds. So, they probably thought he too small to play running back. So I really didn't receive any offers coming out of high school.
Wow. I don't know what that is, that they'll take the short guys who can play receiver and they just stick us at running back.
Yeah.
Right? Because I actually played running back a little bit in high school as well.
Yeah.
But then as soon as they get a bigger guy, like they cast us aside so fast, that dude cannot hit the hole. But just because he's bigger, they
put him out there.
They put him out there.
Yeah. So that's really how it went for me. But I always been the smallest guy. Ever since I was in Little League, I always been the smallest guy playing against guys who were bigger. But, I just had that heart. And, when we step on that field, it's me against you. And, I'm coming with it. I'm coming with my best. And I hope you coming with your best.
Absolutely. Now, you don't get any offers.
Yeah.
So what do you do after high school? What are you doing?
I honestly, I had got a job. I was working at Amazon.
Really?
So so I was scanning the packages, I'm building pallets, I'm wrapping the pallets, and I worked that job all the way up until maybe June of 20. So from October 2016 all the way up until June 2017, I was working at Amazon, and I like at that time. The dream of playing football, that was over with. I had why?
Yeah, why?
I just felt like it was over for me. Like maybe that ain't what God had planned for me, or maybe, my destiny was somewhere else. So, I had friends and my mom, they was telling me, man, you need to go to school. Like, bro, you really like that on the field. Like, go to school and play football. But, in my head, I was like, man, I'm done with football. Like, I'm done with school. And I was just working at Amazon, honestly.
And then after that year, what happened?
I ended up getting an email from FAMU, and they were saying I could get into the school, but I would have to come through the Access Bridge program. So, I talked it over with my mom, and once I got that email, I was like, oh yeah, it's on. I'm going to school now.
So what was tell us I mean, I know the Bridge program, but not everybody knows the Bridge program.
Right. So
tell us what the Bridge program was that you received that email about.
So what I had to do was I had to take 2 courses in the summer.
Okay.
So through the summer semester, I had to take 2 courses, and if I passed those 2 courses, then I would be able to get admitted into the school. But the only way I'm able to get admitted is if I pass my 2 classes.
Okay. So bet it on yourself.
Yeah.
Technically not bet. You was forced to, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm betting on myself. Boy, you all in on yourself.
Yeah. It's all in or it's nothing.
So what was the 2 courses that you had to take?
I took freshman communication skills, which is, they kind of teaching you about the college life, basically. Okay. And then I also had to take sociology. And I had to yeah.
And you had to take it in what, 6-week course?
Yeah, 6-week course.
How many tests did you have to do?
with that professor, it was no test.
Okay.
So what he did, we had three
Oh,
essays.
hold on. This is a recorded line. Do not incriminate yourself.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Okay. So let's be smart now.
Okay.
You got
Test
me?
a day. You're constantly testing. Very hard course.
Don't get FAMU from the Cut to a Podcast on academic probation.
Yeah, you're on a UNC plan. Yeah.
So yeah, I had to write those papers in. You know, I had to.
You had to grind it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get there. Now is everything? Hey, you know everything's great. You on FAMU now. You getting this, you getting that. You big man on campus. Take us through that transition. What happened?
So first, you know, I didn't even. So that first fall camp when I got there, I wasn't really on the team.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't really on the team. So I remember I couldn't practice until the first day of classes.
Oh, okay.
So I had to wait all the way up until the first day of classes. And you know, they red shirted me from the beginning. Like I was gonna be a red shirt. I wasn't gonna play. So, you know, just being on scout team.
As a red shirt, were you a cooperative red shirt or they hold me back? The thankfulness of getting on the squad left as soon as you got on the football field.
Nah, man, I was one of those guys. I was cooperative just because of where I just came from. I was working at Amazon, so I was really happy that I'm playing football again. I'm back on the field, so I just took that as a stepping stone. I was like, you know, when my time comes, I'm gonna make the most of that opportunity. So, you know, I spent my first year on scout team going against the first team defense, and just seeing how I was performing at a high level, I knew, okay, yeah, when my time comes, I'm ready. And I just used that year as a really a way to just get going. That's what I really used it as, a way to get going, and just taking that stepping stone. So when my first year came to play, coach was like, you know, we want to see what you do on the field. We want to see, can you play when it's game time? So, you know, I had to use that first year, my redshirt year, and once I got on that field, I was at home again. So from that point on, it just took off, where coach just provided me with that opportunity to play. And once I got that opportunity, I just made the most of it.
So what's been some of the coolest things? You know, you look at football, the Pac-12, Big Ten, all that stuff, you know, the Power Fives. What have you experienced playing at an HBCU that's maybe different? I played at Utah, so right. So that was and I played in 99, 2000. So it was a little bit different from the University of Utah people see today, right? So what'd you experience?
So for me, it was just the family type vibe where, you know, the people, they knew who I was, not just because, you know, I was that football player or that star on the field. They wanted to know who was me, the person, you know, Xavier Smith, the person. So they just gave me that tight-knit family, as to where I felt as though, you know, those was my aunties or my uncles or my cousins. And, you know, for me, that's just what gravitates me, and that's what gets me, for, you know, just being at a HBCU where it's, you know, that's a real family. It's a brotherhood. And man, the way those people go about their players, about just the students as a whole, the student body, the way HBCUs go about that student body, man, it's something that, you know, I can't even put into words. I can't explain. It's just a feeling of, you know, just acceptance. They accepted me for who I was. I didn't have to try to be anything. I didn't have to try to be nothing that I wasn't. I could just be myself. And for me, that meant the most to me.
So going through your whole football, you know, your football career, now getting you to this point where now you play Saturday ball, right? You need to go ahead and look up, because I saw you out there breaking a few ankles. Also on social media, you ran a little snag route, and DB didn't even realize what a snag route was.
Yeah, man.
Just the experience playing in the HBCU Legacy Bowl, and then you're playing in some. Did you play in any other bowls?
Nah, that was the only
That was the
bowl I
only
played.
one.
Yeah.
What has this experience and this progression for you from going to playing college, working at Amazon, redshirting, now playing in college, and now having an opportunity that your name are on the lips, pause, of scouts and head coaches and teams. And I know a team, they're not going to say it, but I know a team told me the Kansas City Chiefs was on you like syrup on pancakes, bro. Man, that had to feel so awesome. To going from a couple of weeks ago, you were hoping, man, hoping how does this process work? And now you're part of that process.
Right.
So take us through that. Take us through the all the things that you're experiencing now that 5 years ago, you basically what you're telling me is it was a dream that had never happened.
Right. So yeah, like you just said, man, it was something, man. I'd be lying if I said I saw this when I first stepped on campus at FAMU. So, man, like I'm kind of like lost in my thoughts.
You lost in your sauce, huh?
Yeah.
Man, that's dope. So
man,
here, let me. So let's make it even more enjoyable. So did you see I know you saw my post. Have you seen my breakdown of what you bring to the table?
Yeah, I saw it. I watched it. And
tell me what you think. Do I need to add something? Did I leave something out?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I think you hit it on the head. Where, like I say, Steve watching though. When I listen to it, I say Steve really watched the film, and even my coach sent it to me. Like, man, like, Steve just said this. Steve really watching the film, and when I listen, I was like, oh yeah, he really watching. And you like with the body control and coming in and out of my break, stuff like that. So I was like, oh yeah, he watching, or attacking the ball, because they say sometimes smaller receivers don't go get it, but me, I'm going up top. I'm trying to go attack the ball. So when I saw that, I say, yeah, he watching. And it's just a blessing that even like Steve Smith saw me play, like he watching my film. So I grew up watching you. So now that it's on the other foot, man, that's more than anything I could ever hope for.
Well, let me tell you, you don't need to hope anymore. People are watching. Man, what you have put on the field, how you conduct yourself, the way you go about it. I'll tell it again. So it's cool to see it on video. The way you have outstanding body control. Look, I'm getting goosebumps. Let me tell you something. I get goosebumps talking about a wide receiver that actually knows how to play wide receiver, getting in and out of your breaks, body control, high pointing the ball, attacking it. But man, what I'm really impressed with is your ability to set up the defender. But then not just when you set up the defender, you have that flag football mentality where you're catching it. And then now you're looking at, let me secure it, but also let me see where my next move is going to be, because that's how flag football goes. Where you catch it, and if you're going to get hit, you don't allow a clean hit on you because your eyes are down the field.
Yeah.
Man, that's just what I see and what I watch. Man, if you played at a bigger school of Power 5, in my personal opinion, bro, you'd be a top 20 pick.
Right.
Right. And so I just look at that opportunity that you'll have so much depth in the wide receiver group right now in this year's draft. In this year's draft, I think there are more value, and why some guys are going to slip in the 3rd and 4th and 5th round, because there's so less of quality of other positions. Like I don't believe this is one of the top linebacker drafts, but it's so much depth, and there's so many receivers that have the yak, body control, attacking the ball, and there's so many receivers like Josh Downs for UNC Chapel Hill He's a
Right.
5'10" as well. You know, and y'all just what you guys bring to the table, man. Like I'm telling you, like even like that, like Tariq Hill, man. The ability y'all have, man. I used to hope and dream like a guy my stature, we could set the bar for pay scales.
Yeah.
Man, the short dudes, man, they about to break the bank.
Yeah, it's coming.
It is coming. So, man, it's awesome. But I do have to ask you, what is something that you know you need to work on coming into the draft, coming into a camp at some point when you have to display and really get out of the underwear Olympics of pro days, and you start to put on the pads, and now you have a living, breathing person in front of you that has the ability to trick you or to throw your timing off?
For me, basically just strength. You know, just getting stronger, putting that strength on, and you know, I know I'll probably be at the slot, so I want to block those bigger defenders. I want to be able to show, you know, I could get in there and get dirty with those guys too. I could put hands on them too. So, you know, just working on my strength, getting off those reroutes, and also when a guy press, using my physicality to get off of those guys as well. So for me, just basically just sticking to, you know, putting that strength on, getting stronger, you know, putting that weight on as well. And for me, that's what I definitely feel as though, you know, I'm sticking to and working on.
So playing in the Legacy Bowl, I'm pretty sure not every player you played against, you had the opportunity to go against.
Right.
So what did you feel like at any point while you were going through it? Because I did. I was like, oh, here are some of the better players of maybe why when I get to the league, or if I get to the league, where I need to work on my game a little bit.
Yeah. It was kind of, but it's like for me, I just know who I am, and I know what type of player I am, and I don't know, my confidence, you know, is up. So even when a guy, you know, he may stop me on the path, I know what I did wrong, or just look, you know, and I just look at it. I know if I would have did this, it was done deal. So, you know, just each and every rep, just kind of just critiquing myself, and okay, he put his hands on me quick this time, and you know, just little things like that. So just critiquing myself, critiquing my game, and then just applying it on my next rep, and then I see the difference, and I'm like, boom, okay, there it go. So yeah.
So how would you categorize yourself as a film watcher? Do you know how to watch film?
I do, but I'm still growing in that area. Okay. I still want to learn, you know, the things to look for, because it's a lot that I don't know. I'm coming into, you know, a different league, a different ball game, and those guys really been studying the game, and they find different ways and different techniques and stuff, and other guys that, you know, I may not know as well. So you know, I know it's definitely a lot that I can learn, and you know, I'm willing to go in there and learn how to watch film the correct way.
So so right now, how do you watch film? Like if we were preparing for a team right now, right, and me and you are gonna go on the film session, right, and we're gonna watch film. I'm gonna let you take the clicker first. What are you doing when you watch a film?
I'm looking at those DBs, you know, what they lining up. So is he heavy inside, heavy outside? Is he an aggressive? You know, DB? Is he trying to use hands? Is he being relaxed? Is he giving ground?
Okay.
You know, what is he giving away when he do certain stuff? So is he tilted when he about to jam with the left hand or right hand, or you know, just things like that? The DBs inside or outside.
Hold on. Remember, we talked about that, Coley, after Super Bowl. Remember? That's good. That's good, man. So you got a pretty good handle on watching film. The reason I asked that, not to put you on the spot, but I did put you on the spot, so I'm sorry, not sorry.
Nah, right? That's cool.
Which is, I've run into some veterans, some guys like 6, 7 years or I've run into a guy who was 9, 10 years in the league, and I'm always shocked. But then now I'm not shocked this more. Is like players aren't always given the same guidance or tools, even though they're successful.
Right.
Right. And so I had a guy tell me, man, he asked me, he said, man, do you watch film? And I'm like, yeah, do you? And the individual said, nah, I don't watch film. I feel like whatever I do, he can't stop me. And I'm like, well, that don't sound good, because somebody at some point is going to do something to stop you. You need a point of reference to go back to, or at least have a plan, right? That's like you go, hey man, I'm just buying a plane ticket on American. Where you? I don't know. They just gonna drop me off when they drop me off, right?
You feel? Yeah.
And so I love asking guys, right? And also knowing sometimes those guys weren't taught how to watch film. I played in Utah. We were taught how to watch film, not because we're a juggernaut that we are today. It was because we were playing Colorado State, Wyoming, Air Force. I remember the first time we played Air Force, and I was told, which still to this day, 20 years later, sticks with me. They said, when you're playing Air Force, those players, you only could do a trick play one time.
Right.
They are so disciplined. The second time, they will not allow. And I always remembered that. And so me playing at University of Utah earlier, man, I had to play against less athletic. So my go route, when we needed a big play, a go route could not be the answer.
Right.
Right. I had to run a route that required setting up the defender. But I also had to be able to read coverage to know what the defender is playing. And so I really learned, that was one advantage I had with going into from college to pros, is I knew how to read coverages, which meant I had a good study system. Now I would still screw up the plays,
right?
But I still at least had a good study system to help me not screw them up as much. Because I went from a number system to the West Coast. Bro, I was on the struggle bus. Struggle, like my coach was cussing me out, called me idiots. Get this idiot out of here. That's the one thing I'm going to tell you. When you get to a rookie camp, you get to training camp, when you head into training camp, try not to take it too personal.
Right.
Because training camp is to break you down.
Right.
And to rebuild you in the way they like you. At least the mental fortitude, understanding how to break down, understanding what the mantra is for that team, what it is to be a Panther or a Kansas City Chief or a Jaguar or a New England Patriot, like what it means. And so you have to have some openness to be able to, what we like to say, is he teachable?
Right.
Can he be coached? But also, can he absorb information and also do it as well? Apply it on the field on a consistent basis. And the film that I've watched tells me that he understands fortitude, he understands grind, he understands hustle, he's self-motivated. And now you get him a good coach and you put him on the field and then give him 1 or 2 instructions and he's going to run away with it. That's the kind of player that I see in you, Xavier Smith, that man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what's going to happen when you get with the right squad. You get with an Andy Reid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what has this process been like for you so far? The coaching, the type of scouting department, and just pro personnel that you've experienced in this short time now that you're in this in the process of heading into the NFL?
Just for me, I really just been sticking to, the basics, sticking to what got me to this point in the first place. So just talking to different teams and seeing their point of view of things and just kind of, just being myself, man. Just
Yep.
for this whole process, just sticking to who I am and being myself and staying true to the game and who I am. So, I don't try to let all the outside get to me. I don't really get into that. I just want to stay focused and keep grinding because, eventually I'm gonna wake up and I may be somewhere I never thought I'd be. So
absolutely.
So,
32 teams. There's
Yeah.
32 opportunities out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really the mindset I've been approaching this whole thing with. Just keep your head down and grind. And, when my career over, I want to be able to look up and feel as though, I did some of the things the greats did and the guys who before me did.
What's something that you've experienced in this process that has not thrown you off in like, oh, why'd they ask that question, but that's thrown you off in like, wow, this thing getting real now. This is a real job, because and before you answer, here's what I mean. Man, I remember when I got drafted, like you get excited about the draft and then you sit in a room and they give you papers and you're filling out insurance cards, right? Death benefits. Like if you were to die, who would be the person that's beneficial from, you in this king's ransom that we get paid to play a football game. And in case of an emergency, who do you want your next of kin to be, notified? Like some of that for me, like I have never, until I got drafted, had to fill out an insurance card, right? We didn't really have insurance for most of my life. And so I was doing things and calling my mom, asking her, and then my wife, she's having to help me and she's calling her parents because we're figuring it out together that we just never experienced. So that's why I'm saying, what have you experienced in this that kind of like, yeah, like more than just like, yeah, I was at a football game. Like you talking, like you having to fill out stuff that I'll throw it out there. You probably don't remember. You probably had to fill out a dang credit report for them to kind of see what you got going on, huh?
Yeah. So when you asked that question, I was gonna say before the HBCU combine, we was drawing blood. We was filling out. Now it wasn't the EKG. I forgot what the sample was, but we was doing all that. We was filling out the paperwork, and I'm just like, man, I didn't know this came with everything. So I'm assuming, we gonna come, we gonna get ready.
You think you're gonna get some fresh new gear?
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about. The new gear. We finna work out, and then we good. But man, it took almost 4 hours.
Wow.
4 hours.
And then that 4 hours, drawing blood, answering questions, having to give a release for them to check your credit to make sure everything. And that's one of the interesting things, man. Going into the NFL, they know so much information about you.
Yeah.
Right. But yet they still miss and can't figure out sometimes which quarterback can throw and who can't.
Right.
Right. So it's almost like too much information. So you got that. What else have you gone through that's really, really put that stamp of approval that you're knee deep in this process?
This situation right here. When I woke up and then they was like, man, Steve Smith just posted you. I like, Steve Smith ain't posted me. Like, he ain't seen nothing. So I got and they sent it to me. I'm like, oh, like, okay, maybe it is going positive. I'm like, maybe it is going positive. I'm like, this Steve Smith, and then I started seeing it on NFL Network. And
yeah. Hey, shout out to your agency, an all black female agency.
Yeah.
Right.
I got the best in the game.
You got the best. We're gonna talk about that because I also want you to go through that. Tell us how that process has been for you. So I told they said, hey, Steve, we want you to talk about some prospects for the combine. What you think? I said, man, I got to talk about my dog, man. I've been watching film. I'm getting like, it's like one of those things, man. I saw your film. So you had Steve Weiss, best in the business. Steve Weiss comes on my alert, and they show you run 4.38. So I see 4.38. I said, let me see if he all speed and no game, right? You know, so let me see if he's the skateboard, right? You ever rode a skateboard?
Nah, I can't ride no skateboard.
I tried. Skateboard? Okay, so we're gonna take that off on your draft evaluation. He's not a true athlete that can do anything.
I prefer that he's not gonna try and slide down a rail and break his leg and miss a season. That's a positive. If I'm looking at the draft.
Yeah, but a brother skateboarding ain't gonna never try to go on off a ramp that's trying to go to the league. Now he may wait until he get paid and then try it after he's been exposed, but not when he poor.
Nah, I gotta get that first. Let me secure it first.
Yeah, and so they asked me, and I said, man, I just been watching some. Let me go see, can he really play? Because, and then I saw how well you played, and then seeing the speed, I'm like, man, I have to say something, right? And so when they asked me, I said, man, you told Underdog is like, yo, let them know I'm gonna talk about them on NFL Network too.
Yeah.
Right. And so I just feel like, man, you've earned it. You deserve it. You can play. There's so many guys that we have to talk about in the National Football League. I think sometimes we get caught up in the school name.
Right.
Instead of saying football is football. Right. If you can play football in the backyard where we all start, I don't think the size of the stadium or how colorful the jerseys are or how much NIL money is offered that we should cover the players or not cover the players. Right. So for me, man, I think you're a big time player at a non-Power 5 school, but you got Power 5 ability.
Right. I agree. I agree.
I mean, I'm glad you didn't, because you'd be fool to disagree with me.
Well, right now, we're talking about those kind of guys. A lot of them are at the combine right now. Do you feel some type of way? Do you have a chip on your shoulder that you're not there too? Or do you feel like you're doing everything you need to do and you're not too worried about it?
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like, God does everything for a reason, and I feel as though I'm in the position that I'm supposed to be in. So, I feel like in my life, I've passed that stage where I feel as though I got to prove it to somebody else that I am who I know I am.
Wow. I'll be 44 and I ain't got over that yet.
Yeah. So, man, if anything, I just want to show myself that, this who I am and this what I know I am. And just showing myself that, I could play that game. And, I feel as though I have the ability to be in those positions, but, that just, it wasn't my time to be there. And, when my time comes, I'm going to definitely be able to show the world.
Okay. Talk about your agency, man. Talk about, what that process has been like. How did you come to that conclusion in this process? And what's been the fun parts about it?
So, at first, I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, you be my agent. Like, I don't really want to do the agency at first. That's just kind of how I was feeling. But just doing a lot of interviews, going through that, I was getting stressed out because I'm like, man, like it hasn't been the right one yet. I haven't came in contact with that right one yet. And I remember the first time me and her and her whole team.
Who's hurt? Now don't say it.
I was finna get that. So like the first time me and Miss Rashida, Lady Live Sports, the first time we got on that Zoom call, I was like, this the one. Cause she had everything laid out, the information, what she can provide for me. And like what they was gonna do for me to help me succeed in my journey. So, the first time I got on that Zoom call with Miss Rashida, I told my mom, I just looked at her like, yeah, this the one. So I kind of played it out though. So I was taking I played it out. I took my time and I was like, I'm not just gonna jump in right now. I'm gonna give it some time. But she continued to check on me. She made sure, that everything was going good with me. And I felt as though Miss Rashida and her whole team, they cared about me as the person first before they cared about me as the athlete. And, that's what sealed the deal for me. She kind of gave me that home as well. Okay, she's my mom kind of. So, still to this day, she check up on me all the time. She continue anytime I need her, anytime I text her, she responds instantly. So I don't have no problem with getting in contact with her. I know if I could call her or anyone on the team, on the Lady Live team, I know they'll answer and I know they'll be there for me. So just the support they've shown me from the beginning all the way up to this point and being there for me, that's what I enjoy the most.
Man, that's dope. And I think it's also great. Miss Rashida has been unbelievable. When we posted about you, she reached out to us and said, hey, how does Steve? And she didn't say, hey, we heard Steve did this. It was more of like, why, right? She was asking the why questions more of like, what's this? What's your shtick? What y'all doing over here?
Yeah.
And when we said like, we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
He's just doing my job, and he stands out. And I'm just giving the young man his due. And man, just to follow up, just the way she's protective of you, man, that's a gift, man. That a lot of agents or agencies you don't get, but there's also a ton of them that are like that. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that she's not special, but also. Man, there's some crooks out there in the world. But then there's some it's like Miss Rashida, Derek Fox, my agent, who was my only agent for my whole football career. There's some people out there that really, that's who they are to the core. They just happen to be doing sports. That's how they do it. But they would be doing that if they were a school teacher, a fireman or firewoman, a doctor or surgeon. Right? That's just who she are. So man, you guys have a great agency who they look at you first. One other thing she said she got some big time football players on the team.
Right.
But she said she got one or two grinders, and you one of those grinders, man. I heard that. I just lit up and smiled because every football player, every athlete, every man, I think every person that does something that requires criticism or critique or coaching, you're always looking forward to make sure or hear, am I doing it the right way?
Right.
Your agency believes you're doing it the right way. Agent 89 believes that you are doing it the right way. And I think NFL teams are seeing that you're doing it the right way. Right. And don't get caught up in where I'm not drafted or where I wasn't picked up. Man, just be ready for when the team that does pick you up.
Right.
That you perform and be ready to show that you deserve to be on that team. Because sometimes you'll hear guys say, man, there's 31 other mistakes that I need to punish. Man, unless a team goes like some teams did with me, was like, hey, you didn't pass our physical, right? But I didn't realize because I broke my neck in college, I didn't pass their physical, their threshold. Right. They wanted me, but I just didn't pass their threshold. They didn't want an undersized, thin receiver with a newly repaired fractured neck to be playing a contact sport. But at that time, I was like, man, I'm playing the, chip on the shoulder. Man, that ain't a chip.
Yeah.
Boy, you're a liability.
This is Bandit. He founded Underdog Fantasy so that humans who really love sports could play with their friends and win some big prizes. Tell your human to go to underdogfantasy.com today.
So, man, I'm just excited. Is there before we let you go, is there any questions you have for me?
Yeah, I wanna ask you. how did you stay focused when everything came? You know, how did you just stay grounded? How did you just keep that grind, that mentality where, you know, you want the show. You want the show.
Yeah.
Even when there was a lot of people who probably felt you was the best, you still kept that chip,
So,
as you know, you wanted to prove.
Well, that's a good question for you, and that's a bad question for me. And the reason why I say it's a bad question for me is because I have to get out of the vehicle, look back at the path and a little bit of the destruction that I had, because I was so focused on doing things and being a particular way that at times I was a bad teammate. I was a bad husband. I was a bad father. I was a bad friend. I was a bad Steve to Steve, because I was sometimes so focused on doing something that I never really enjoyed playing, or I never really enjoyed the practice, because, well, you know, and I mentioned on this podcast before, but maybe not to you particular, is when I tore my Achilles when I was in Baltimore and I was set to retire that year, I was high as a kite on all those drugs because I had a double rupture. So you start just like, you know, your mind is going, bro. I was up at like 2 a.m. and I was thinking about every single pass that I dropped that stopped me from catching my 1,000 receptions, because I wanted to catch 1,000 catches and then be done.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting after surgery, mad at myself. If I wouldn't have dropped those passes, I wouldn't have torn my Achilles, which means I wouldn't be in this hospital bed, which means I'll still be playing. And so I just went down this rabbit hole. And a lot of times I did that, where I look at the NFL. It should have been the NFL for me, as I grew up in Los Angeles. And there's a highway, PCH, PCH highway goes all the way up the coast. And it's a beautiful, beautiful scenery. And man, if the PCH highway and all that scenery is my football career, very rarely did I get out and take a picture. Did I ever get out and enjoy the sunset with my wife or my kids? Did I ever get out and see the sunrise? Man, I had so much anxiety and I built up so much ungratefulness of living in a moment. Man, I was acting like the third animal on the platform of the ark. Think about that. When you're the third animal on the platform of the ark, on the bridge of the ark, you realize, hey man, somebody's an odd man out. Oh no, bro, it ain't somebody. Ninja, it's you. Right? And so it just, man, and so I would say, man, learn how to grind. Have goals, short-term, long-term, lifetime, daily. But man, learn how to unplug and also enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Stop and smell the roses. Get out the car. Don't leave the car running. Turn the car off. Lock it. Walk across the street. Get out and see a sunrise, sunset. Have a picnic, lunch. Man, just don't make your profession of football become one of those things where your family, when they remember sometimes playing football, they go, yeah, I remember that's what you yelled at us, Dad. You know, yeah, Dad, I remember on Saturday mornings, man, you were real grumpy. How was Dad feeling? Is Dad in game mode? Man, I would tell you and encourage you and also be transparent. Man, that ain't exciting life to live, man. That's not the grind that I want for you.
Right.
So you're saying it's possible to be as good as you without being that intense all the time?
Absolutely. You have to be, man. You got to you got to take a break. My wife used to tell me, baby, you can't fight every fight. Right? You can't argue with the person that forgot to give you the 10 ice cubes in there. You asked for 10, they gave you 12.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, so I would say my grind, I was a little special, unique with it.
Yeah.
Right? Almost infatuated with it, addicted to the angriness. Right? And that's one of the reasons why I have no desire to play football anymore. Because like I like kind of just like, you know, now I get a little spicy here and there. Right?
Yeah.
I get a little spicy, but to the core, I'm kind of a goofball. Like I'm really a goofball, love to laugh. I love to make fun of myself and I love to make fun of other people because I also think laughing is good for the soul, bro.
I agree.
You know, so that's the long answer of one of the things that, you know, grind, work with a purpose, but unplug, man, unplug intentionally.
Yeah. Cause see, I feel as though sometimes I do that same thing where I just get so locked in and then I take the on the field and I'm still in that same mode off the field sometimes for a long period of time just because I know where I'm trying to go and I know where I'm headed. But, you know, the fact that you just said unplug sometimes, like it's cool to unplug. It's cool to just take a step back and just enjoy what's going on because yeah, for me, sometimes I wouldn't say I enjoy it. I just be like, okay, this part of the journey, and then I just keep going. But you know, for you to really say that I understand.
Yeah, it's tough. Anything else?
I know you used to talk about that controlled rage. You know, like give me the insight on that.
I was a little unique, bro. I was a little cray, man. And for me, I just when I played in a way that, you know, it was exhausting, but two, it was and I just played with such rage because I knew what was at stake, right? But I also knew what I came from, and I came from meaning, you know, struggling. My mom did an awesome job, and my mom worked, and we rode the bus. Like I always wanted a house, fence, and a dog. And bro, for me, like to come home to a dog and come home to a house that I own, like I'll wake up next day like, ain't nobody taking this from me.
Yeah.
And so I just came in it with such, like I just woke up pissed off all the time. Right to the point of where it's like, what? What you say? You know, to not being able to just enjoy things. And so I just kind of, you know, some people wake up like, man, I hope somebody sit in my seat. Oh, I need a day. Or,
yeah.
You know, and where like even teammates be like, man, that dude, he dragging his bag today. You know, and I wake up if I didn't get passes that week, I didn't believe that the offense coordinator don't like me. He trying to hold me back, dog.
Yeah.
Right? They trying to get rid of me. And so I woke up. So you got that internal dialogue going. And hell, that's just getting into the car, going to work, right? Then you ain't paying attention because you had this mental dialogue. Then you late. And so now you're sitting in more traffic. Somebody to cut you off, somebody to honk their horn, flick you off, and now you mad. So you're mad getting in the car, so you're ultra mad getting out the car. And then somebody sideways because you're running late, somebody parking your spot, that's your spot. But technically, we don't have parking spots, but you know that's my spot because I'm a senior or I'm a veteran or I'm a baller, so that's my spot. You know, I was parking that spot all the time, but usually, only reason I park in that spot all the time because actually I come earlier. But we don't need to discuss all that because I was mad when I got up because I didn't catch passes last week. Then I'm mad because I'm running late. Now I'm mad somebody done parked in my spot. And then now the food for breakfast, they didn't pick that up. So now I can't eat. So I'm hungry. And then we get the game plan. And the 10 passes I was supposed to get last week, I only got 3 attempts. And then now we got the same passes we used last week. So now I'm mad that we're using a repeat of what we didn't get last week to this week. And it should be more opportunities because the 10 last week you didn't get me. So I need 15 to at least make me feel like I'm important. And so, you know, that's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. I ain't watched no film. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a Wednesday, dog.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That is so exhausting.
12 more hours left in that day, minimum.
Yes. Right? Like, that's the rage. I don't want you to have that rage, man.
For sure. And just, I feel like I got 2 more questions. And the one is, you know, with the finances, because I know a lot of money, you know, come in this game. So how did you, you know, balance your finances and you know what type of advice you could give me to, you know, help me with my finances?
All right, so I'm gonna tell you this off the bat: don't get no power of attorney to anybody. Right. Take ownership of your finances because your agency, they are great people.
Right.
But they're not your babysitters. So you need to take ownership of your finances and start to learn how to create a budget. Also learn what your budget is, meaning what are you spending money on, what's coming in, what's coming out, right? For finances, for me, I've said, I don't know if I said it on here. So I was a 3rd round draft pick back in 2021. I got a $500,000 signing bonus. After taxes, it was $375,000. By the following year, after my rookie year, 375 plus 129. And I paid you got to pay 3% to your agent off the 500,000, not what you get.
Right.
So I paid 3%. What's 3% of
Is that 15 grand, something like that?
Yeah, 50. So I paid 15 grand to them. I bought a house here in Charlotte, but then I had to pay off all the extra bills that stuff that I had, like the old phone bill that I had that never paid. So I had to pay off all that. So that following April after my rookie year, 375 plus 129. Bro, I had $5,000 left in my bank account. That following April, that following draft, so the next year's draft class who was getting a new check, I had $5,000 left, man. I blew $400,000. I'm talking about not on dope, not on stupid stuff. I just was not prepared. I was not prepared for the responsibility. And so I had to borrow money from my agent because I had a mortgage payment. My wife had our daughter, which was our second child. I had gas. You know, this is when Nextel was over, had to chirp, 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 you know.
Yeah.
Right? My wifey, chirp, chirp. Our bank account, our cards got declined. And I didn't manage it. I didn't do well. And because I didn't take ownership. I wasn't counting my money. I was just spending it. I had a lot of withdrawals and very few deposits because you only get paid 17 weeks out the year.
Right.
And I was unprepared for the responsibility. And so luckily, my agent gave me a loan and I met a kicker named John Casey, and he talked about finances with me and helped me and started to just break down money. And man, there was a book that John Casey referred to me. And then my financial guy, who's still a good friend of mine, and my financial guy, he told me a book to read, which is the same book. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. And man, I read that book and it was phenomenal because it was a little bit kind of like the old King James version in the Bible.
Right.
Right. So they had thou and thee. But man, what it really taught me is like, taking care of paying yourself, treating yourself, but also taking care of your home. Right. Taking ownership and learning that for me, one of the most intriguing things I love about money is a penny equals up to a nickel equals to a dime to a quarter to a dollar to 5, 10 to 20, and so forth. And if I save up all of those, man, I can really, and if I say yes to today, then that means at some point I'll have to say no to many tomorrow. But if I say no to today, I get to say yes to so many tomorrow. And so I started really kind of taking that because I said yes to everything before and I was broke, had to borrow money.
Right.
So now I'm like, no. And the no is because I want to go on trips with my family. I want to see the world. I want to be able to go skiing for my kids. I want to be able to pay for my daughter's wedding when she gets married because I only got one girl. So I'm responsible to pay for that wedding. And what can I do? How do I tell my wife I can't afford this wedding? With Google, you made this much money, this many millions. You got your own podcast and your daughter getting married and you can't afford to pay for the wedding? Because why? Because I blew that money. Man, I can't do that. I'm not perfect. But man, one thing I'm gonna tell you, we get paid a king's ransom to run around in tight pants, catch a football, and get to change the trajectory and our financial well-being for generations to come. Or go blow $50,000 in Vegas on strippers and going out to the club so you could get free bottle service.
Yeah. Dang. That ain't really my thing anyway.
I'm not saying it is.
No, I get you.
But ultimately, that's people have done it.
Yeah.
Right? You think about, man, I think about this, Coley. And I remember I was talking to him. He's supposed to come on the show, Vince Young. Mm-hmm. That man, I heard, allegedly, booked a 747 commercial flight. And he bought every seat on there, and he was the passenger on there. Why?
Yeah. Man.
Hey, that sounds terrifying.
Delta, Delta, I'm gonna buy this coach ticket for me, but I want to buy all the other tickets, all the other seats on the plane, so you can sit there and talk to nobody.
Do you think they still drew the curtain? They're like, you can't come up to first class. You bought a coach. I'm sorry. Those are the rules.
Do you think they did the
whole song and dance?
The whole song and dance. Please put it on your face before helping a passenger.
But in all honesty, I think the fact that you're already thinking this way, you're a step ahead of a lot of the people in your very same position right now who aren't even considering the pitfalls and the things that can come from, like Steve said, blowing a bag that first year.
Yeah, and you kind of answered the last question because you was like saying no today, to where you could say yes, tomorrow, and then the future was, people always have this. People always say, everybody starts to ask for money, or yeah. So
first of all, it's hard. It's hard to say no. I'm not gonna act like I've had an easy time saying it. I can say no to a stranger easy,
Right.
It's real easy, right? You can hit a note to a person that you feel like you'll never ever see again. You can do that all the time.
Right.
But man, when you got uncles and aunts and relatives that they watched you grow up. You know how they say, you know, us black folks too. I done wiped your butt. I knew what they looked like before they dropped.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, I knew you when you were little Xavier. Now you got a capital X. Right? I would say what I've tried to do is you have a boundary in your head of I won't give beyond this. Right? But then when you say, because people do fall on hard times, and too much is given, much is expected. And so I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, blow your family off because, well, you ain't screwing up my money. I would say this. A lot of times if I have somebody, you know, you got the cousin or the relative that'll come and say, yo, Smitty, right? Because we both Smiths and
right.
Yo, Smitty, man, my car payment, bro, you know, they about to take my car. That's true. I used to go through that, bro. They take your car because you missed your 7th car payment. They ain't taking it because you missed your first one. So what I do, instead of going through the whole rigmarole, man, if I'm gonna help you out, I can give you $1,500. $1,500 in the grand scheme of things, if we manage our money right, is not a lot of money on an NFL salary.
Right.
Okay? But I'm not writing the check to you, Smitty. I'm not writing the check to you, Coley. I'm writing the check to
Capital One, whoever,
who start, you know, I'm just throwing out there, Mercedes. If you got a car payment that you behind and you want me to make that car payment, give me the paperwork. I will write it on my bank account, the amount that I agreed upon that's in my head, and I will mail it. If I mail it late, I'll put the extra fee on there it's because it's behind, because I've been taking my sweet time. But I'm going to mail it to the institution, then to mail the check to you, because you're going to get sidetrack salary. When I get with that $1,500 check going into your bank account that happens to be across the street when the new Jordans drop at the Foot Locker. And so that's what I do. Some people don't like it. Some people say, you think I'm a child? No, I'm doing it to protect us.
Right.
And that's just what I've done and I've learned, because I've experienced giving people, I've given some family members some money and they've blown it and still lose the house.
Right.
And so it's not for me to judge, but I also try to minimize, man, I can't be stroking $10,000, $15,000 checks to you and all of a sudden doing it, because at the end of the day, if I stroke all these checks to all these people and all my money's blowed, then you ain't gonna let me and my family, I got 4 kids, you ain't gonna let the 6 of us move in and we sleep in the primary and you sleep on the couch. Do each of my kids get their own room like they used to have? You know, so
yeah.
That's how you handle it. Is you have a number and a threshold in your head. You don't tell anybody, but you don't bargain with anybody. That's what you do. And man, you stay to that. And then you'll be able to do that even in retirement. Be able to throw somebody $2,500 because you're in hard times, but you can't do $2,500 every day of the week for the next 10 years.
Right.
You know, so, you know, and sometimes it's like $700 here and all that stuff. Like if you got any kids, college funds, man, you could do with your financial guy, do your own IRA, right? If you like to travel, I do a travel account that I go to. So when I go to travel, that I'm pulling that out of the travel account.
Okay.
Right. Life insurance. I got a life insurance policy that I pay out of my life insurance account that goes, because we pay term life, but we get a discount because we pay once a year. So I'm all about discounts. So I get a cheaper discount if I pay it that way. So man, all of those little things, man. And you know, I do Marriott. You're gonna be going to these hotels. You got Marriott, man. Get you a Bonvoy account. so you can get those Marriott points. I'm taking my daughter on a ski trip, and she's like, "Where we staying?" Marriott.
Yeah.
Marriott. And the wife was like, "Well, you know, you got to be careful with the days. I'm with my Marriott so good. I got a different status. So my late checkout 4 p.m. player. I don't leave early. Right?
Yeah.
Right. I fly during TV. I fly October. I fly American. September, Delta. November, I alternate. So I have a very good elite status on all those. So when I'm done with all this, man, I'm like the AARP king. I want memberships and discount for everything. And so that's just the way I think, you know?
Yeah. That.
So that's my little weirdo financial deal.
That's what I needed to hear. So you just gave me a few pointers on, you know, what I'm gonna start doing. Definitely might have to tap into the Marriott.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yep. Getting those points. You're gonna be staying all those Marriotts and ordering room service. Boy, you better get your points in days.
Yeah, I need them.
So nothing against FAMU, but hey, ain't no more motel, no Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah. Nah, we used to stay in some good hotels a few times though.
Yeah. Hey, don't go up to Wyoming. Boy, it ain't nothing but a Motel 6 up there. I tell you right now.
Nah, fam, they treated us well.
That's good.
They treated us well.
That's good. Man, we appreciate you coming on the pod, man. Look forward to watching you play. Look forward to talking to you. So now we can call you a friend of the show.
Yes,
man, blessings upon blessings. And I know you're going to do a hell of a job, and I look forward to it. Your agency is unbelievable. Don't turn your back on them when you get too big.
Nah.
And remember them. And anytime you need anything, man, hit me up. I may be a day or two behind in replying, but it's not because sometimes I just bad at replying to text. But man, if I could be of service in any way possible, don't hesitate to ask. However, if you ever in jail and it's late at night, don't call me because I'm sleeping.
I got you, man. But I'm gonna definitely have to hit you up though.
Okay. Man, I had a great time. I'm Steve Smith Sr. on Cut to It.
Mate.
And we got
Xavier Smith.
You got it. Appreciate you listening. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all, man.